just right now because there's there's so much opportunity in condos. Like you can still negotiate.
Yeah.
The inventory is low, but it's still more than the freehold. Well, like first-time home buyers for sure, because we just took out a new client on Saturday for showings, and we kind of just looked at the kind of Mimico area, like because there's a lot there, and like their budget is not like crazy high, but it's not super low.
It's like two bedrooms for like 800.
2 bedrooms, you can get something there.
Yeah.
And like there is offer presentations, but I haven't checked where it's like I want to see if they're selling, but majority of them actually are just listing for what they're looking for. Yeah. So like there is opportunity there, and I do think that once the freehold market, if it keeps continuing in the spring, like at this rate, then it's gonna people are gonna get outpriced, and then they're gonna move to the condo market, I think. Usually when like the gap is so big between freehold and condo, everybody jumps to the condo market in the 800 to $1 million, but that might be tricky because that's kind of the price point where you might try to get like a townhouse or a condo townhouse like that at that price point.
8 to 850 is still like you're better off decent, maybe going to, especially in that like Etobicoke area.
Yeah.
Like rents are going up
25% year over year.
Yeah.
How do you figure out what the math is? Like there's a lot of stuff that where you can bring a lot of value to an onboarding call, and what you need to do is really hit the pain points. Is like stop paying rent.
Because there are condo buyers, there are a lot less because maybe they don't have the confidence, but if they're looking, it's such a great opportunity right now, like where you don't have competition, right? There is still competition, but like in the freehold market, like when you guys are doing showings, like David, I don't know if you are, Chris, but like with buyers, like it's frustrating, right? Because like you're dealing with multiple offers, like, and you see something listed for $999, like you have to actually do a little bit more work. You got to research, like, hey, what is that really gonna sell for, right? Before you even show your client, right?
Yeah.
Because if your client's budget is 1.1, like, okay, it might be a waste of everybody's time.
Yeah.
Whereas condos, like if they're not holding offers, like this, you can negotiate, you can put in conditions, like,
Yep. So I promised that we were going to get a little spiritual here. So, so here we go. I'm a really big believer in like mental preparation and like visualization and all that sort of stuff. And so there's something that came across my desk or my screen over the weekend that really kind of hit home, and it's like, what is it like? Why are you here? Like not here, but like, why are you on the planet? Like, what is it that? What's your purpose? What is it that you want to achieve? What is it that you want to sort of like leave behind? What kind of person do you want to be? And so the reason why I'm asking this specifically is because a lot of people have this idea of, you know, like why they're here, but their actions and habits are different. And a lot of people don't bother to align those things. And when I say a lot of people, it's what I should say is we're easily stray from what our direction is in our habits and what we do. And I've been talking to my wife about this is like this idea of negotiating with yourself. And I think we all do it. Like how many times you've like laid in bed in the morning and you have something important to do and you're like,
this episode's really good.
Right? And so this is like throughout the day you end up negotiating with yourself a lot. And I think it's really important. What I would like to do is to just at some point here, take a moment. Like, why are you here? Who are you? And what is your purpose? Forget about real estate. Like, what is your purpose? What is it that you want to do? Who are you? Like, why are you here? What's your purpose? Like, allow those things to sort of go through your head.
Okay.
Just we'll take a minute. I already know what mine is because
I already know what mine
I read
is,
this.
But,
let's just take a minute and kind of like just take a like if do you know?
I do.
Okay.
for me, like my own personal stance, it's like, you know, I want to be spreading positivity, whichever capacity I can. Like everyone has energy and ripples that they send out to the world, so I want mine to be like positive little ripples, right? So, but beyond that, from a Christian perspective, it's more to know God and spread God's love and things like that. So that's kind of my own personal philosophy, but that's getting a little spiritual.
That's okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like I resonate with, you know, the good kind of energy, good vibes. I think, you know, if you do good or if you're able to help somebody, the other person can pay it forward and help somebody. We'll actually like improve, like, you know, our living standard, or just like how we treat each other. Now that we have kids, it kind of changes everything, because I feel like I'm just more focused on kids. I just want to make sure they're happy.
And they're not growing up to be.
Yeah, they're happy. They're well mannered. You know, just bringing them up right, because being a parent is so much work. Like you guys know, you guys have kids, so I think that's what I think life is. Just like spending time with family, just enjoying other people's time. Like, you know, it's all about the small little moments in life, you know? Yeah. Like if you like remove work and you remove everything else, is like, it's really the small little things that like actually makes your day. Like your dad, or sorry, the kids actually saying like, oh, you're a super dad. Like that actually just picks me up for the day, right? And actually like, it makes my day. And like, it's the small little things I think that I take for granted every single day, because you're so consumed in like work and just like life and everything else.
That's why my priorities have shifted the older I get. So now it's more like, now what matters to me are my relationships, like relationships with God, relationships with family, relationships with friends. So I prioritize that kind of above everything else.
No, but she didn't say relationship with me.
Family. I said family.
You are God, aren't you? I got you, man. I got you.
All right, David.
I'm pretty much like share a lot of those philosophies. Family's huge. Raising my kids well is like top priority, and just like kindness in general, like open doors for people, be kind, and make the world a better place. Like, you know, I'm not like doing like Medicare in like Africa or anything, but like we can make a difference like on a micro level that spreads and like makes a big difference in the world, just by doing the little things, kind of like what you were saying.
For me, I would say, like I also value relationships a lot as well, and like I don't have kids, but like with my family and my friends, and a huge part of me right now is to do something I love. That's really important to me, and I guess like that is a little bit related with work, but I feel like with everything I do, I need to like really be in it with my heart. So I guess, you know, if I had kids, I would really be thinking like, I want a better life for my kids, and because obviously like that's what we feel like our nature. And so like, but right now my life is more about me, because that's all. It's just me and what fulfills me. So like fulfillment in everything from when I wake up.
Okay. My goal and what I came out of this with, and this kind of, it's been something that I've never been selfish with information. That's something that I've always strived to help people reach their full potential. Like that's always kind of my MO, whether or not it's like a member of the team, when I was coaching, even when I was an athlete, like I wanted the people around me to also reach their fullest potential. And sometimes at the detriment of me reaching my full potential as well. Like sometimes that's something where I think that I should probably be, if I can be a little bit more selfish in an area, then that, like by me reaching a higher potential, allows the people around me to also win. So for me, it's really quite a difficult balance of like how much I give versus how much I keep for myself to be able to get to where I need to go in order to help more people. And so it's interesting that because money always kind of creeps into it. You ask these questions. And I believe what you can do with money creates a lot of good. Like if you had a lot of money and you're a really good person, then you can create all kinds of wonderful things. But imagine what you could do with a portion of that money that would have a really huge impact. And so one of the things that like what I look at if you were to help a lot of people reach their full potential, where does that start? It starts with kids and it starts with school. So imagine if you could influence a morning meal plan for every kid in the city. So for me, that's the why. Is like, why do I want to build a giant business or like a super high producing business? It's not because anybody needs $25 million, because nobody needs $25 million. But what you can do with that money is hugely impactful. And the more impact you have, then it starts a feedback loop where people love what you do and what you bring to the table, and they love what you're doing with the excess. And that's where I think that our industry falls down a lot, because people kind of like they hit this sort of ceiling. They never aim for crazy, and when they do, they keep it. They hoard it. So that's for me. It's like, how do you help people reach their fullest potential? And if you can help a lot of people reach their full potential, then that has a huge impact that spreads out and ripples out. I think it's really similar to what you guys were saying. I just had more time to think about it. And this is how I parent with my kids. I don't pull punches with my kids. Sometimes my wife thinks I'm a little bit hard on them, but it's only because I want them to reach their fullest potential. And especially now, my oldest is getting to that age where he starts to understand it. And where you're like, that's really good. Is that your best work? Do you want to pursue this further? Or do you want to pursue something else? Anyway, that kind of comes from some of my own sort of what I believe is possible. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because one of the most painful parts of this job, and like I knew this about you guys, like I knew this about all of you, that you like really care about people, and that's what really matters more than anything else. You can come in being very bad at this job, but if your primary focus is on caring for people and helping them to achieve a better life or move to a better situation or whatever that is, if that's your goal, then you will by nature become great at the job. You can't help yourself. And so that's kind of like one of the things that I find is the thing that actually pushes us or pushes me off course is when people doubt your intentions. It's really hurtful. When you talk to somebody and they think they are judging you by their standards. And that's the part that really kind of like, it pushes, like it really beats you down. It makes the calls uncomfortable. And
it's the bad apple spoils the bunch too, right? Like
it's true.
People have perceptions of things based on.
I hate people
Previous
people make assumptions.
Yeah.
They just assume they know like this and that other.
And our industry deserves it. Our industry deserves it. What is prevalent in our industry is this idea of like I'm hustling and people like taking these extravagant vacations and putting it on social media, buying cars they can't afford and bragging about it.
Yeah, and there's the
Talking about huge commissions on social media.
selling sunset and everything else too. That didn't like.
It's hurtful. Yeah. It's hurtful. And so this is the battle that we are fighting, basically. And this is why I've personally chosen social media. Because this is an opportunity to give away what we know and what we do for free. And it's also why, like, the number one rule for what we create is you can never elevate yourself by stepping on someone else. It only hurts the industry and makes you look bad. And I'm glad, like I kind of knew, like I said, I kind of knew what your answers were going to be because we're all that type of person. I think all of us have different ways to sort of make that impact and to get there. But what I want to make sure is like what we're doing, let's not forget about what we're doing and make sure that our actions and our habits reflect who we want to be. When we reach out to people, like the reason why we want to build our sphere is obviously to increase our business. Like we want, like this is a business, and unfortunately we live in a world where money is a requirement. But why do you want to make more than you need? What would you do with it if you did? If there was a mass excess, what would you do with it? But for me, like when I go out and I like when I make the calls, what I'm doing is I'm saving people from a bad experience. There are people out there clicking and getting people call them that are not equipped to do this job. So like from a like ethical perspective, from what we all believe, we owe it to the people that are out there to help them. That's like, for me, you signed up for this job and it's like, I don't know about you guys, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. This is the hardest thing I've ever done. This is really, really hard because there are so many skeptics, because there are bad players, because trust with this kind of responsibility is very hard to earn. And interestingly, so I went out, I did some showings on Sunday with a client that has been sort of like around for a few years and looking for the right thing. And what they said was, like Chris, like we love working with you because you tell us as it is. Like when you walk into a house, you're like, this house is shit. And our last agent, all she did was be like, this is wonderful. Look at this. Aren't these countertops great? Because it was transactional for her. And what they asked me was, can you be even more honest with us? Like right from the beginning. And I was like, oh yeah, all right, gloves are off. I'll tell you everything, and we will not get in the car unless I think it's a slam dunk. And they're like, yes. That's like a level of trust. Like they're willing to pass up to even go and see properties based on my say so. But what they're looking for is they're making a really big, like they're like going from one place to another, and this other is it. Like that's it for them. So it has to be right. So just like, I think the one thing is just make sure through this exercise, the idea is like, remember what are your core values? What is it that you really believe in? Why are you on the planet? And then make sure that your habits and your direction every day reflects that in everything that you do. So if it's real estate, great. If it's parenting, great. If it's community, great. Make sure that all of those things are reflected. And again, for me, it's just about helping people reach that full potential. And everybody's potential is different.